Okay, so we're going to discuss point editing and the effects of controlling points on a curve versus, it's actually the same process, but also controlling points on a surface as well. So let's everybody go to File, New, so we can all open up a new template here, and we'll not save our changes. We'll just hit No. And let's choose Large Objects, Feet for now, and let's open that file up. So now we've kind of opened up fresh, and we should all be in the same units. Let's quickly just go to units by typing that in, and let's change our distance display to feet and inches, so that way we're not working in decimals. And let's bring it down to 1 foot and 1/16. So that's our accuracy level, our display precision. And go ahead and hit OK. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a series of lines. We're going to create 3 lines. We're going to change the amount of control, or they're all going to have the same exact amount of control points, so that way they're all share that same characteristic. What we're going to change in each of them is the UV, or the degree, I should say. Sorry, the degree. And then we will manipulate these curves, and we'll see the differences between each of them, and then hopefully you can get a better idea of what you're doing when you want to choose specific parameters for your control points. So let's just start off by drawing a simple line. So I'll type line, and let's do it at the 0, 0, 0. Now, since we're going to be using control points, let's turn off, before we get started any further, in the object snap area. And I'm going to move this up to here so you guys can see it. That's not where I want it. That's not where I want it. There we go. Everybody can see that, right? It's better than way down at the bottom. So let's turn off near. Let's turn off endpoint and midpoint. Get everything basically deselected. Let's just keep point on. Since we're using control points, it's good to have the point object snap on, because then it allows you to select those points. Down at the bottom, let's turn off the smart track if you have that on. And we'll leave the other 3 on for now. So let's all just open up top view and make that the largest display. And let's go ahead and make this line 10 feet. And then go ahead and let's zoom in on it. And you'll see it's there right on the axis line right there. So the first thing we're going to do is let's turn on its control points. You can do it easily by pushing F10. That's a quick way. And then F11 will turn them off. I unfortunately cannot do that because it messes with the video recording. So I'll show you another way to do it, which is actually right here. So you can turn on and off points here. I'm sorry? F10 is a quick command. If you press F10, if you select the line and press F10, it should bring up your control points. And most everybody should probably just see 2 dots on either end, which would look something like this. So you can see how I have a dot here and a point there. I'm going to call them points, not dots. Okay, so everybody's got that, right? You got 2 points. So that's just how you turn them on, and you can easily just also turn them off. And the way I'm doing it is through right here. If you left click, select it, and hit enter, it'll turn it on, and if you right click on that, it'll turn them off. There are a lot of other parameters here for the control points that can become useful. I suggest you explore them on your own time. Next to the points on, points off, right here, is actually your edit points. And so these are the points that I was discussing that are actually on the line. So if I turn those on, you can see there's only 2 points as well. Now that's because this line currently is only reading for 2 points. And I'll show you how you can adjust that. And so what we're all going to do is follow along with this right here. Let's select the line. And the best way to manipulate the amount of points and the amount of degree in your line is to rebuild the line. So the command is called rebuild. You know, type that in and hit enter. And it brings up the rebuild dialog. This is really useful. Let's say if you're drawing a line and you have a lot of control point, you have a lot of points that you click to make that line or that curve. Let's say like an actual arced curve. if you go in and rebuild it, what it's going to do is restructure the line to be smoother. So depending on how many points you put in and how much degree you add to it, it's going to smoothen that line out. Okay, and we'll see. You guys will see that right now. So right now, my the dialog box right here in the parentheses, it says 2 and 1. That's what the line is currently. What it's suggesting here is basically what I'm going to input. So the 2, which is point count, and I'll show you again. If I highlight this line and I turn on the control points, you'll see 2 points, 1 and 2. So that's what that's representing. If I go back to rebuild, the degree you're not going to necessarily see. That's something that's affected by that polling thing that I showed you guys, where you pull a line and then you pull the line from one point and you can see the other, everything starting to pull with it. The degree affects how much the other points adjacent to the point you're pulling move. And you guys will see it, don't worry. So let's actually put 11 here. So we're going to do 11 points. And for this one, we're going to make the degree, we're going to keep it at 1. So that way I can show you how much it doesn't affect the other points in the area, right? So let's hit OK. Now turn on those control points. And you should get something that looks pretty much like this. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points, right? So that's good. Now that we've done that, let's copy this line. And you're going to need your endpoint for this. So let's turn on the endpoint. So endpoint and point only. And let's just move it up. Let's see here. 2. That's too much. Let's go 1. So you can see how it's following the grid there, which is good. So now we're kind of working on the grid lines. So let's select this one. And if we turn on the control points, they should be exactly the same, right? We haven't made any changes yet. So let's select that line and let's rebuild this one. And we're going to keep the amount of points the same, 11. But what we're going to do now is we're going to affect the degree. And let's change the degree to this one to 3. And hit OK. So now let's turn on the control points for this one. And we see that the control points are a little bit spread out unevenly here. So let's go ahead and take a moment to let's fix all these points and set them at the same exact location as our other one. So I'm going to pause the video while we do this. I'll first show you how to move a control point, so that way you guys are comfortable with just moving them along the line. The way you're going to do that is, and let's turn on the control points for the other one so we can see where they are. So they're there. So let's select this control point by left clicking and highlighting over it. And if you type M for move, you can, now it's attracting to it because of the point object snap. You can click it and let's move it to, and now you see how it's not snapping, so what we need to do is actually turn on our grid snap. So down at the bottom, let's turn on the grid snap, and now it should snap to the grid. So we're going to move that point to there, and now you can see both these points are in line with each other. So let's just do that process for all of them. That way they're just perfectly in line with each other. And this will make our lives easier later. So I'm just repeating the same move process over and over again, and now I have all these points like that. So now they should be equal with each other. Okay, now that we have those two lines, let's make one more line. So let's copy this line over. And I think I said 1, so let's do 1 again. And then place it. And then now let's rebuild this line. So we're going to rebuild this line, and we're going to keep 11 points again, and we're going to change the degree to 5. And once you type in 5 under the degree category, just hit OK. And then let's try